Lord, that verse there's Lord in capital letters. So that's not speaking about a man, it's talking about the Most High himself. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it, man. Okay? That's why you have to acknowledge the Most High in all your ways. Like King David, I always use King David as an example. Alright? That's why I nickname myself Dawada. Alright? King David acknowledged the Most High in everything that he did. When you read, he even acknowledged the Most High in all his wars, man. He said that the Most High taught my hands to war. Alright? In the name of the Lord, we shall beat them. Alright? Even when he beat Goliath, he said, he used the name of the Most High to beat Goliath, man. Okay? Even on his deathbed, he told Solomon to remember the laws of the Most High. Okay? So it said, and that's why during the time of King David, no one could stand before David. Why? Because he used the name, he fought in the name of Yahweh. He didn't fight in the name of Jehovah, Allah, or Yeshaya, or some other fake, phony name. Alright? He used the name of his ancestors, the name of the God of his ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And through that name, he was invincible on the battlefield. Okay? So get that precept.
And you know too, the Lord, you said that the Lord, I don't cut you, brother.
No.
But you said the Lord was building a house. And you said you always use David as a good analogy, which concerning the topic that you're going into, it's the right one to use, because what house is he building?
It's the tabernacle of David. Exactly.
That's going to be the main house. It's going to be above all governments.
Right. Exactly.
For the main governments.
You know that one is, right?
Yes, I just had it.
It's up to the one if you want to see.
Even
one in Matthew as well.
I think there was
24, 724, Matthew 724.
Months ago, I think it was.
Yeah, speak louder, brother, if you can.
I saw a video about 3 months ago, and it was exposing, the rappers, entertainers, and all that stuff. Tupac. And one guy, Jake, a nigger, he did a response video. And you know what he said? All you people that are telling that Tupac was fake, he said, you should laugh. He said, in the name of Yahweh, by Sim Baasha, I rebuke you, man. All that, you can't use the Lord's name just like that, man.
Right.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, you can't take the Lord's name in vain. Alright? That's why, even though they have the name, if they're not a part of this, they don't do nothing.
You know what I'm saying? And there's another scripture where it says, if it be by the will of man, it will come to naught.
Yeah, get that for the brother. Get Acts 5:38.
Okay? So, and that brings another scripture to my head, because anything you do in this world, man, anything you do, if it's not set up and within the Bible, it's gonna come to nothing, man. It's all vanity. It's to just talk about the dreams of men. It's vanity, man. Dreams. Everyone's living their dream, man. You know what I'm saying? Even in that anime cartoon called Naruto, this guy called Madara, he came back. They reanimated him. And he wanted to put everybody under hypnosis and let everyone live their own dream individually, so there would be no more war. And to the end, it came to nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Anyone go on.
This is the book of Acts 5.
That represents Esau. That's what Esau's trying to preach.
Yeah, basically.
Acts 5, verse 38. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught.
Exactly. They labor in vain. They're laboring in vain. Read that again.
So that's a key word right there. Labor in vain.
And now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught.
So Gamaliel, because it was Gamaliel that was saying that, he's basically saying, listen, man, don't even bother, because if it's of men, it's gonna come to nothing anyway.
Yeah.
But if this thing is established by the Most High, trust me, There's nothing you can do against it. If I read it.
And now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, ye cannot overthrow it.
So
Lest haply ye be found even to fight against the Most High.
So Gamaliel, he was like a master in the law. And Gamaliel, he was the teacher of Paul. Okay? He was the teacher of Paul in the law. Okay? He's the one that taught Paul. Alright, in the laws and commandments.
Yeah.
So that in itself, he gave a spiritual advice, instruction right there, saying, man, leave it alone. The Most High will do with it.
Yep.
Alright, don't try to involve yourself physically and trying to be a judge in matters that the Most High will take care of at the end of the day. Alright? So he said, listen, if it be of the Most High, going back to that verse of Psalms 127. We did read Psalms 127.
I'll get that verse.
Give me that Luke. What's that?
Matthew 7.
127, yeah?
127, verse 1.
This is Psalms. Right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 27, verse 1. Except the Lord build a house, they labor in vain that build it.
Right.
Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman wake up but in vain.
You know what I'm saying? So you could watch over a city. You could be, because of what a watchman does. Like when you watch that movie Troy, that's a good example. When you watch that movie Troy with about Achilles and what was it? The Greeks versus the Troy. Yeah, exactly. Brad Pitt. You're supposedly playing this like a demigod called Achilles, half man, half god or whatever. When you watch the movie, all the Greeks came by boat, sailing by ship, and they crossed the Aegean Sea to try and sack the city of Troy. And what happened when they were on the horizon, the watchman of the city of Troy started ringing the bell, boom, 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 right? And that's what alerted all the people within the city that war was on the horizon. So the watchman, you can watch over a city, but if the Lord is not with you, that city's gonna be overthrown.
Anyway,
Okay? That city's gonna be overthrown. Alright? So that's a deep thing. Women could be put to death, young men could be hung from the city walls, women raped, the old people put to death, all because the people of that city were given over to idolatry.
right.
And were not committed unto Yahweh. All because of that. Okay? So that's a deep thing. You have to acknowledge the creator of all things. Alright? Oh, give me that Luke.
Let me finish this, brother. This is verse chapter 127 in Psalms, verse 1. It says, except the Lord build a house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman wake up but in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty much it.
The verse 2 that was really the point.
Matthew chapter 7, verse 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock.
That built his house upon a rock. He that doeth my commandments, heareth my commandments and doeth them. It's not also about listening, man. Brothers need to put in work to show your faith. Now, the Most High could weigh your heart and you know what I'm saying, you might not be out there physically doing the works or out there teaching, but the Most High knows your sincerity. You might have some type of sickness which prevents you from entering into a camp and standing upon your feet, all right? But the Most High knows you, your inner part as a man, and knows that you're sincere with it, man. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing it because it's just entertainment. You understand? All right. So he that heareth these words and doeth them, all right, because ultimately it's about you showing your faith by your works. Go ahead.
And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not.
Read the whole verse.
From verse 24.
Yeah, the whole verse.
Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock.
Yes, who's the rock?
Okay.
Who's the rock? The rock is who?
How was shot?
The stone that the builders disallowed is now made the chief cornerstone.
Yeah.
You can find that verse, man, because that's written in the prophets and it was re-uttered in the New Testament.
Yeah, I got the precept the back when he was reading. It says this is Psalms 128, verse 1. Blessed is everyone that feareth the Lord, that walketh in his way. For thou shalt eat the labor of thine hands.
Right.
Happy shalt thou be, and it shall be well with thee.
Right.
Okay. In the house.
Right. Okay. So read that again.
Come on. I tell you what, yeah, read that verse there.
Matthew chapter 7, verse 24.
No, Luke 14. Where he called from. Read that again and I'll read this again so he can recap.
About the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in Matthew.
Oh, yeah, go.
Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock.
Is that whoso heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them? Okay, go ahead.
And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock.
So exactly. So if you hear these words and doeth them, you're likened unto a wise man that built his house upon a rock. The floods came, the winds blew, but that house didn't fall because it was founded upon the name of Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai. Alright? Now this house here, that's why there's a scripture that said the gates of hell shall not prevail against us. You know why? Because this is all about the Lord, man. You got that piece of
Come on. This is Psalms 128, verse 1. It says, blessed is everyone that feareth the Lord, that walketh in his ways.
that blessing. The Lord's not going to bless somebody that's not going to walk in his ways.
Right.
Like them Christians talk about I'm blessed. You in the ghetto, minimum wage. Your son is given over to selling drugs. All right. You got 2 children by 2 different men that don't want to be with your ass no more. All right. Knife crime is our all-time high. Talking about you blessed. Where? You Negroes, man. You need to wake the hell up. All right, because you made hell a heaven for you, man.
Right.
You know, the scriptures say that. Read that again.
Hey, they need to smell the coffee.
You know what I'm saying? That piano man in the church song you to sleep.
Yeah, this is Psalms 128, verse 1. It says, blessed is everyone that feareth the Lord, that walketh in his ways.
Right. And that's the elect. Only the elect is going to fear the Lord and walk in his ways. All right? Only the elect is going to walk in his ways. Because the Most High has given them the spirit to see and ears to hear. Okay? That's right. Well, I want to go back to that verse, man.
I got some more, bro. It says, for thou shalt eat the labor of thine hands.
Right.
Happy shalt thou be, and it shall be well with thee.
The labor of thine hands. How are we going to, enjoy the labor of our hands in the kingdom, man? When we take the kingdom, when the saints shall take the kingdom, we're going to get rewarded, all right, for following in his ways, all right? For hearing and doing. We're going to be rewarded with enjoying the labor of our hands. So first, we labored for Yahweh Shai's sake, and now we're going to labor to enjoying our labor. All right. So first, we need to sacrifice, self-sacrifice for the Lord. All right, and then the Lord is going to give it over to us to enjoy what we want to do. All right.
Isaiah 53 and 11. he shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. His knowledge shall be of my righteous servant, justify many, for he shall bear the iniquities. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with transgressions, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressions.
Read that again. Slowly.
Isaiah 53.
You gotta savor it, brother.
Yeah. Isaiah 53 and 11. He shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied.
Right, because the Most High is going to see the travail of Yahweh Shai and be satisfied. Alright? So it pleased the Most High to see Yahweh Shai in pain, man. Imagine that. Imagine you a father and you take pleasure in seeing your own son, your firstborn son, in pain. That's kind of nuts. That's kind of nuts when you think about it. You sit back and maybe it's pleasing you because you feel like your son is enduring it. Because you see that your son is strong. Alright? Go ahead.
I gotta go to verse 10. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him.
Right.
He hath put him to grief when thou make his soul an offering for sin.
And because it pleased the Lord ultimately, because this had to be done to reconcile Israel back unto himself.
There you go.
It had to please them, because why would the Lord be upset at the fact that his son is dying? That's more of like a carnal, shallow mentality.
Right.
Really.
Right.
But on a deeper level, it will please the Most High because this has to be done.
Right. Exactly.
Which is why Yahweh Shai cursed out Peter. He said, "Get behind me, Satan." Because Peter was thinking like a carnal father. Like, I don't want you to die. I don't want I love you. But Yahweh Shai was trying to let him know, listen, this has to be done to fulfill all things. When you go to Daniel's 9 and 24, it tells you that the Lord has to die to fulfill the 490 weeks. All right?
And I got the
to bring in the kingdom, to make an end of sin. All right? That's what Daniel's 9 and 24 is talking all about, man. The 70 weeks. All right? Read that again.
Isaiah 53 and 10. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed and shall prolong his days. And the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. He shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquity.
Right, wait, slow down. Rewind back again.
Reload it. He shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied.
Right.
By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many.
Right, so we're all being justified through this knowledge. Alright? With this knowledge, Yahweh Shai would justify many. Because when Yahweh Shai came, he gave a portion of this word, this grace, to his disciples. Alright, to the men that heard him at that time.
We're the disciples now, brother.
And we're the disciples, we were disciples, and now we're now apostles. We now have been sent forth. Alright? That's why it talks about making them clean. What is it? Is it Daniel's 12? Many making many righteous, turning many to righteousness or something like that.
Yeah. That's in Daniel's 12 verse. I believe that's 14.
Yeah, turning many to righteousness or something like that. Roughly paraphrasing. But continue on.
For he shall bear their iniquities.
Right.
Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and shall divide the spoil with the strong.
Right.
Because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors.
So when the Lord came, he didn't labor for his own to do what he wanted to do. He came to perform the will of the Father.
Exactly.
He literally said that in the scriptures.
Exactly.
Give me that in what is it? It's an hold on. It's an
Yeah, could I get this precept for you real quick?
Oh, go ahead.
This is Matthew 5, verse.
Give me Psalms 40, verse 6.
17. Matter of fact, verse 17. Think not that I come to destroy the law
Right.
or the prophets.
Right.
I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Right. So he came to fulfill what was written of him in the law and the prophets.
There you
man.
go.
Okay? Because back in the day, I used to say, oh, he came to fulfill the law, and I wasn't really understanding too much what I was really saying. But then I got more experience, and I realized he came to fulfill what was written of him in the law and the prophets. Okay? Concerning himself. He even said that. Even when he was in the synagogue, he stood up and he read something out of the Old Testament, and he said, "Yeah, now this is the day that this is fulfilled." All right. So he came as that. He was that prophet, written off in Deuteronomy the 18th chapter. All right. And there's other scriptures that he came to fulfill, man. But everything wasn't fulfilled until the end of Esau's war, literally the latter end, man. When he comes the second time. But anyway, read that.
I got some more too, brother. It's verse 18. Verily I say unto you, till heavens and earth pass,
Right.
one jot, one tittle, surely no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled.
Right. See that? Heaven and earth shall not pass, meaning the first heavens and first earth shall not pass till all be fulfilled, man. Till everything written in the law and the prophets is fulfilled about him, man. So he was literally saying Esau is not going to come out of power until everything written in this book is fulfilled about him.
That's it, brother. You're breaking it down.
All right? That's what he was talking about. Gonna read what?
Genesis 49 and 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
Read that again.
Genesis 49 verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
Break it down.
Yeah, because you're talking about everything having to come to pass before this kingdom comes to an end. But it's all the way back here in Genesis that the scepter's not going to depart from Judah until Shiloh comes. And that word Shiloh goes back to the root word Shalom, which means peace. And last week we preached the gospel of peace, which is really the gospel of Yahweh Shai, because we're being made friends again with the Lord.
Right.
And it says at the end, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. This whole gathering of the elect is unto who? Yahweh Shai, Shiloh, because the elect will be the first ones that will have peace between the Lord and them.
Right. Because he's the mediator. Exactly. Because Yahweh Shai is the mediator, and he's there to bring peace between the Israelite men and the Most High.
Right. So read that again.
Genesis 49 verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
Right, that's right. And we're being gathered right now. It tells you that in Ezekiel, the 11th chapter. We'll go into that, but I want to, there was certain, because we're talking about how the Lord, the house shall not stand unless it's built on Yahweh, man.
One precept, brother. One more, then you go back there. This is Matthew 24, verse. I'll read 34. It says, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled.
Right.
Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away.
Right. So you know what I'm saying? The word of the Most High is firm, man. Okay? And it's gonna it's true and it's faithful. Alright? So give me the scripture to say any man come through any other, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. If any man comes through any other way, he's a thief and a robber. But this all goes into what I'm talking about, how except the Lord build a house, they labor in vain that build it. Because if a man try to come through some other way, it will come to naught. He's a thief and a robber. There's only one way.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Well,
This is John 10. It's probably different, but it's similar. This is John 10? Yeah, this is John 10, verse 1. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber.
yeah, exactly. Because you know when you got like a sheep, yeah, like a flock of sheep, and there's a gate that keeps them in. There's like a fence that keeps them in. The shepherds go come through the gate, but a thief go climb over the fence, or a wolf try to come through the fence. They're not going to take the door.
Right.
All right. They're going to climb over it. Okay. And it also reminds me of the scripture saying, "Behold, I knock at the door." All right. Go ahead.
But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep.
Right.
To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice. And he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he go before them, and the sheep follow him.
Right,
Revelations
because
14:4.
Yahweh Shai knows us all. He knows us all more than we know ourselves. Yahweh Shai knows every last one of us, man. Because he knows the members of his fold. Alright? So Yahweh Shai knows men who are not of his fold.
Yeah.
And them brothers are going to get weeded out.
Like Judas Iscariot.
You know what I'm saying? If a nigga get found in the wedding ceremony having not a garment, he's going to approach the guy and say, "Where's your wedding garment?" And then he toss him into our darkness.
No verse, brother. They bind them.
They tie him up. And they throw him out the chariots, man.
into the flames, into the lake of fire.
So there's a nigga